are here, Bolt Bros. We are here for the pregame show for the Browns Chargers matchup. Let's go. We cannot wait for this.
The live pregame, because you did one yesterday, right? So yeah, this is the live.
Yeah. This is with all the bros.
That was the preview pregame. That's what that was. Yeah.
Preview pregame. Yes.
Preview pregame. That's right. Yeah.
But big game all around for the Chargers this weekend, and it's kind of could be a little bit of a scrappier of a game if you've paid attention to the last week for the Browns versus the Ravens. It was different team without Deshaun Watson. I'll say that. It's a completely different team.
Oh yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I'm going to show you real quick one quick slide before we just jump in our intro. Just because, what do we do around here? We're family, trust, respect all day, every day. So let's just throw a little bit more on those Raiders real quick. So
that's right. What you got?
This is the record for the last 20 years of the Ravens, or excuse me, Raiders. Excuse me,
the Ravens.
Okay. Close enough.
Oh my goodness.
120 wins to 204 losses. Also, on top of that, the Browns are the worst in the NFL record-wise at 111 wins to 212 losses with one tie. So, hey, family, trust, respect all day for every day for the Raiders. But guess what? We're going against one of the worst teams in the last 20 years with the Browns this weekend. So, let's go. Let's make that happen.
Man, let's do it. That's right. That's awesome.
It's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure. I mean, it really will be. So, well, guys, we ready to get into it?
Let's go. Let's do it.
What's up, Kermit, man? You watching the Boat Bros podcast. Stay tuned.
Shout out blue dreams, stadium lights gleam. Boat Bros on the beat, lead stream. Chargers rocking speeds, Sonic Supreme. From the podcast to the field, we're a team. Charged up, Boat Bros on the night. LA Thunder in electric delight. The fright.
Let's do it. Hey, just gotta shout it out there. Like I know, James and Andrew are Padres fans, but man, I'm so happy to be a Dodgers fan right now. That's for sure, man.
I don't know about that, dude.
Cream of the crop.
That's right, cream of the crop, baby. That's right. We're the champions.
Okay, enough of that. Let's move on.
That's right. Hey, it's all right. We just need the Chargers to win it now.
We need Chargers to the Super Bowl. What's up?
I truly thought whoever won the Dodgers Padres series was going to win the World Series. Whoever was going to win that, because both those teams were just absolutely fire. And I think they easily could have gone and done the same thing. If Padres got to the World Series, I think they could have beat the Yankees, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I agree. That was
and
really
the Mets before that point too.
Yeah.
Too. So
the Dodgers, I mean, they said it a lot in the locker room right after. That was they beat the best team in baseball, which was the Padres. They admitted that. Then they beat the hottest team in baseball, which was the Mets, and then they beat the legendary Yankees. That was a very steep hill to climb, So it was freaking awesome. Hey, shout out to Twitch. That's my homie Huffet right there, buddy.
Yeah. What's up, dude?
Hey. We'll give him an air horn. What's up?
Hit him with the air horn, baby.
Hit him with the
air horn.
That's right. Actually, he ain't no friend.
I don't have friends. I got family.
That's right. There you go. That's just for him. Actually, he's a huge Fast and the Furious fan right now. So
Let's go.
Well, we could start with a good little clip too. I was thinking about showing
what you got.
Again, one guy that I always thought I didn't think was going to be that great this year. I talked about this. I think Kyle and I'm not sure if James was really involved in this conversation a whole lot when we started talking about Cam Hart. And I didn't think Tarheeb still would be that good. I didn't think Cam Hart would be good, and because I think the corner is a very hard position to play in the NFL,
big time.
And when you come in the NFL, it is very difficult to start as a cornerback because you got to understand coverages and there's just a lot involved. But this hit that Cam Hart puts on Chris Olave
I'm glad you're showing it.
Yeah, well, and I did a short on it, but man, like, whew, I mean, here's the thing: the league has become soft as well, right? So I almost was surprised that he didn't get flagged for it.
Right.
But this is a good example of how you should hit somebody. And bro, I guarantee you, he rocked Olave's world, dude, right here, hard. And but this hit right here was just insane. Off to the left side here. Of course, it's over here on this side. So just watch the play action. Comes through. Here he comes. Boom!
Lit him up, dude.
The thing that was so crazy about it too, though, this is why you want to hit players like this, right? Because it removed him from the ball, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what he was probably trying to do when he got that personal foul call last week.
Yep.
But this also says something to me about where I think Jim Harbaugh is going to go moving forward with corners. He wants bigger guys, right? So my question to you guys is Asante Samuel, right? He's what, 5'9", soaking wet, right?
Yeah. Okay.
This guy's 6-ish, like 220, right?
Yeah.
And so are we gonna extend Asante, or are we gonna continue just to try to develop a guy like Hart? It's a good question. I wonder, because I thought about it quite a bit when I saw this. Thank you, Miguel. I appreciate that. Look at this. Watch this. And just decleated.
Yeah.
But Tarheeb looked great too. So, anyways, I wanted to throw this thought out there. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, and the thing about it is, like, I'm a big fan of taller cornerbacks, and maybe I'm not a coach once again, but I always kind of view going back to, say, like Antonio Cromartie or something like that. Quentin Jammer was another guy that was a taller type guy. Yep. Like, the way I view it as is a taller cornerback basically has a lot more wingspan. He's got more height on a lot of receivers, or at least matches up with receiver size. Yeah. Like, I think it makes a lot more sense. As long as you got speed and coverage ability, that's great. Like, if I look at Cam Hart's right now, his PFF is at 64, which is green, which is basically a good level for him. His run defense is at 81.1. He's 9th in the NFL in cornerbacks against the run. His coverage grade is where he basically takes a little hit at 61.7, which puts him at like a yellow mark, which is at 103rd out of 201 cornerbacks. And once again, Cam Hart's been a 5th round guy, including Tarheeb still. It's an absolute amazing thing to be able to see. And I'd love to be able to have a cornerback like that.
I do hit home runs, guys. I just want you to know that. I can show you my broken bat back here. Yeah. Bunch of dingers. You know what I'm saying? Bunch of dingers. But to your point, though, when he came out, right, the big conversation was his footwork, his speed, the ability to move and track. If you recall the offseason, there was all these videos that came online. It was all over X that, he was working on his footwork and, moving back. He went to all these different camps. Clearly, he went to these other places and got more help in the offseason, right? He took it very seriously, came into camp. And Jim Harbaugh even said, it is such a blessing to have 5th round picks, two cornerbacks in 5th round, basically they were back to back, weren't they?
Yeah, it was. It was, I think it was Cam Hart. Was it Cam Hart first?
And then
Tarheeb. It was Tarheeb, then Hart. I remember that.
Yeah, right.
And then he said, but to think about that is incredible, guys. And there was an awesome video today, or it was a couple days ago, who was the guy on our scout squad? What was his name? That video with Daniel Jeremiah. He breaks down scouting and how the Chargers have scouted, moving from, what was that guy's name? I keep drawing a blank on his name, James. Do you remember the guy's name?
Which guy was this?
In our GM group.
You're talking about YDCFF? He was a scout.
No.
He was a football scout. He's up in the chat right now. Yeah.
I'll remember it here. It's not him. It's a YouTube video.
Oh, yeah. That's Chad Alexander.
Chad, there we go. Yeah, it's right here. There we go. Yeah, it literally pulls up. Yeah, move the sticks. Great video. You should watch it. Yeah, he breaks down how he evaluates players and such. It's pretty amazing. So anyhow, I didn't think they'd be that great. I'm excited that we have such a great scouting staff. They did a great job, and it's exciting. So
no, I mean, that's the one thing about this team that I think we do a phenomenal job of making sure you're thinking what's the next best player that we could get. I mean, even there was some reports that Joe Ortiz was at Colorado's game a couple weeks ago. They're always out there looking for players ahead of the curve and making sure, yes, the season's going on, but there's a season after this too. And there's a season that all the talent. Chad Alexander's done a great job with that. I think our coaching staff has done well with it. Our GM has done a phenomenal job. Not even just getting just some of those trades that we've had thus far too. I mean, picking up Hart, going after Elijah Molden.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good additions that this team has made and with small little moves. So, and once again, trade deadline is on the 5th, guys. So we're getting to that point that this weekend is going to be a big thing all around.
And the 5th is also vote day as well. So get out there and vote. Yep.
Absolutely. So, but let's jump into the slides here real quick too. And, it was Halloween, right? So,
hey,
which one is Harbaugh? Which one is Harbaugh? Here?
Wait, what? What's going on here? I didn't know Harbaugh had a twin. What the heck's going on here?
It's a Harbaugh's twin right there, baby. And
that is so awesome.
So cool, man. And it was pretty funny that they also had a video of, Simi Fehoko. And if you can't tell, that's Cameron Dicker next to Jim Harbaugh there, dressed as Jim Harbaugh. And they ended up going out and getting them outfits, pretty much.
It is that Jim Harbaugh dressed as Cameron Dicker.
Ooh, there you go. I don't know if Cameron Dicker's worn that before. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be Jim Harbaugh, or Dicker dressed as.
I got you.
Now I can't even think of that. Dicker dressed as.
Oh.
Yeah, we lost James there.
Oh,
yeah. You know what I like is, what I love here is that he's got his tobacco also in his pocket as well, too. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. This is Zin, I believe, right? Is what it's called.
Back there?
Yep.
Yeah, we lost you for a second there, James.
Yeah, James, we can't hear you.
Oh.
No, you good. You're back.
Oh, I'm good. Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah,
but yeah, pretty funny costume all around, guys. And I think it's hilarious to see that. It was funny to see the Simi Fehoko, Cameron Dicker shopping for their outfits too.
Yeah, it was a funny
that was
video.
Pretty good too. Yeah. So there were some really cool videos this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty great. And you see the culture of the team is very it's gelling, right? They're enjoying being around each other and they're having a good time. This is a good question by Miguel. How confident you are that we're going to make a trade 1 to 10? Are we sticking with what we have? I don't think we're going to stick with what we have. I think no matter what, we are always going to try to find people on the waiver wire. I did a video Thursday on 2 people we scooped up. And we also brought in Sam Mustapher as well from practice squad. So is he going to play center? I'm really curious to see if he plays center or where he plays, or is he just going to be a backup? I don't quite know, but pretty interesting conversation with that because we know Bradley Bozeman hasn't played the best. Here we go. Game stats.
Yep.
Questionable. Joey Bosa, DJ Chark is still questionable, and Denzel Perriman's questionable. Christian Fulton and Brennan Rice are out.
Yep.
And Stone Smart is doubtful.
Chart later on in the slides too. So it's there's a lot of little shifting around too, and we'll kind of elaborate further on that too. So,
but what do you guys think though? 1 to 10, I think we're going to trade. I can't think of a number, but I would say a 7 or 8. We do something. We do some move, and it might be on the offensive or defensive side of the ball.
I'm going to throw one name out there that I saw that he is going to be sitting this weekend, and he has been a trade target for a while. And I think they are specifically sitting him down this weekend with I think it was like a hamstring injury, which is always the clue of this guy's available for trade kind of thing. And T. Higgins is sitting this weekend.
Yep.
And T. Higgins has been talked a lot about too. So they're basically protecting the guy that has ability to get traded. And so T. Higgins is one of those guys you got to keep an eye out for. Now, will the Chargers go after him? I'm not sure. I think that it's going to be kind of determined on what this team looks like this weekend. We're going to have a pretty good little setup for our wide receivers and tight ends this weekend. So I don't know. Do you go out there and go get a T. Higgins, a guy that you could potentially have for just 1 year with the hopes of potentially re-signing him to a bigger contract in the offseason? So that's the one guy that I saw as that could be a potential.
Yeah, and there's quite a few more. I know I posted something on our page here, right? I think you talked about Cam Robinson.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players that are going to get moved around. I think depending on how games go this week, it's really going to determine how teams
big time
deal with things moving forward. All right, season's over. Let's dump some players and get something out of these players that we're going to lose in free agency or whatever, right? So, but yeah, Ricardo, yes for Higgins. Again, I will say this. My whole conversation around that is I think it's very hard for a player to come in and immediately impact the team, right? This would be more of a conversation where you think you're going to make the playoffs and they're going to impact by the time they make it to the playoffs, right? Because they've been installed into the offense well enough at that point, or defense, or special teams, So I do think it's a little bit hard, but that's my take on it.
Yep. Yeah.
My number is a solid 3.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing nothing. We already made a few trades. We got a couple players, but I mean, we don't have much cap for anything. So I don't think we really have it in the budget to make a move. Like, we can probably pick up some players off free agency.
Yep.
But I would argue with you about that, Andrew, is that like homeboy Weddle got off the couch and won a Super Bowl with the Rams. So like, and he only played the playoffs the entire, so he was able to be injected into the defense just and hit the ground running right away. I don't know if he did. I don't recall if he did like an insane amount of tackles or anything in that time, but he, these players, like they 100% could contribute to the team right away. However, here's the word of caution that I have against, I know a lot of people are saying Mike Williams, on the other side of that coin to potentially come over here. And he already has chemistry with Herbert and stuff like that. We could potentially get him for cheap, we already seen too that Devontae Adams going over to the Jets did not pan out exactly well either. So
100%. And he's already worked with them together, right? So
for years and years. So
you got to remember, there's different calls, there's different everything is, all the verbiage is very different, right? So like a good example, look at Hart. Hart finally, I think he had the highest amount of snaps he's had with the Chargers. He only got 20 last week, right? Yeah. And that's only 20 defensive snaps, right? So, and again, they are rotating a lot of players there, but he's probably only come in for very specific packages also, right? So, so a lot to be said about that, but we'll see what happens. I do think though, if there's a trade available, because I do think we have, $7 million left over.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that a lot of these trades that would happen, it would be like something where salary would get picked up of some sort.
Correct.
And, splitting of, and you're at a halfway point of like the year too. So you're only paying half of that contract if you're taking on a full contract. So, like even to say, for instance, if you look at like T. Higgins right now, his contract, he signed a 1-year deal, $21.8 million base contract. So give or take half of that, you're at 10.5-ish for you. Now, there could be even a split at that point too, where they say, all right, I'll take 5, you take 5, and we'll call it even kind of thing. And we'll take your draft pick. So, I mean, you never know. I mean, I'm interested really to see how these wide receivers play this weekend, bottom line. And I want to be able to see things kind of develop with them. I mean, we'll see kind of what kind of pans out at this point for them, but I have kind of a little bit of a reluctancy if there's going to be a trade to be made. But we don't want to see a Tom Telesco too, if you got a chance to get a guy that actually could really elevate the team too. So, and not go after him.
Yeah. Well, the other interesting little tidbit that I saw was that the Chargers may try to move away from Josh Palmer, which I thought was a bit ridiculous. But he's been injury prone, and does he really fit within the system? Who knows, right? So I don't know. By the way, Goomba asked a good question. Anything happened to Nathan Shepard? Did he get penalized? I keep seeing a lot of
not a damn thing.
I don't
people saying he should get penalized, but I haven't seen anything about him getting penalized. Now, probably under review is what I would assume. So
I don't know. Hey, well, if it was against Patrick Mahomes, they would have gotten on that thing like on rice. it would have happened
So
right away.
stupid.
But like, oh, well, it's Justin Herbert. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny because about 4 days ago, there was like this article from the U.S. Sun talking about Saint star Nathan Shepard facing major NFL punishment. But like, I don't think anything came from it at all. So it's still kind of just sitting out there. So,
right.
I mean, it was
pretty
clear
annoying.
dirty play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does have a history of playing dirty. Apparently in 2019, he got suspended for 6 games when he was playing with the Jets.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so he why not get suspended now? It's like, this is ridiculous. That was
I'm actually glad they didn't do much with Bozeman, but you do have to wonder if I just had this thought. Maybe Bozeman's going to get in trouble. That's why they brought up Sam Mustipher.
Yeah.
Because maybe he gets busted and then Sam will have to play this game.
Right.
But what a lame situation, right? For Sam, for Bozeman to be penalized, right? When he's just protecting his quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
But the league could also say, hey, it was a big fight, right? He shouldn't have been doing that. Well, penalize both of them. I mean, Shepard should have been ejected, period. He should have just been ejected.
Yep. Just come on, get out of here.
I tell you what, Bozeman probably was going to rip his face right off. I mean, he was like choking him on the ground. I was like, oh my God, what is going on here?
Yeah. If Herbert didn't pull him off, he was going to murder that dude on the field. Yeah. I love that.
Wow. I mean, anyways, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
The crazy. I never thought I would say these words, but I actually think that Emmanuel Acho actually said something in favor of Justin Herbert. Because
he did, yeah.
Yeah, he was saying how like Nathan Shepard's play on him was absolutely unacceptable. It's like, hey, you're actually in favor of Justin Herbert for once. Oh my
what's
goodness.
up? What's with that about?
Hey, I think ever since he's been on this new show, he's flipped the coin a little bit on the Chargers. So it's like
he's all about the clickbait. He was all about the clickbait back in the day.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah.
So this is a hard play to watch.
Actually, you're saying he's a social media news anchor, I guess, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So we got Will Dissly here. So this is the one where it hits him right in the hands.
Yeah.
And I mean, this play could have gone for, close to a touchdown. But I just want to show the footwork of Herbert. Just watch Herbert and how he places that ball so beyond perfect. It's absolutely unbelievable, right? So, I mean, I watched this over and over again. I wanted to do a short video on this as well, too, but it's kind of hard. It won't fit quite right. It doesn't look very good. But look, little delay. Look at that. Goes to the reads. Oh, my God. I mean, it's hard to watch. I mean, it kind of reminds me, I hate bringing this up, the whole Quentin Johnston drop at Green Bay, right? Absolutely perfect throw.
Now, it's the thing is, though, he's keeping his shoulders down. He's keeping his feet moving. He's moving his feet to where it needs to go. And that was an absolute dime of a throw. Like, absolute dime of a throw. It's perfect.
I mean, and Bozeman did a great job on the defense there as well, too. But, man, Dissly, I mean, dude, he could have been gone. I mean, he could have at least gone another 10, 15 yards after that catch. But
easily.
The one thing is, I remember Chase Daniels saying that Justin Herbert throws a heavy ball. But look at his footwork. Even with the leg problems, man, he could have at least made it to the 10 or the 15. Oh, my God. Anyways, I think we settled for a field goal on this drive as well, too, guys. So, it's just it's crazy. But, it just goes to show you that one little thing. Oh, there goes Shepard, too, by the way.
Yeah.
There's Shepard. So, that was one of those plays you're like, okay, I bring this up because it just goes to show you that the offense still has not fully clicked. We're still not where we need to be. And the week we lost against the Cardinals, 7 drop passes that game. 7 drop passes. So again, it's one of those things where, we can improve still. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into talking about the game this weekend. So this is the TV map for the game, guys. So Chargers are going to be that orange kind of look to. So most of California into Oregon to around the Cleveland, Ohio type area that you're going to be able to see the game on your local broadcast. So that is the TV broadcast. Looks like Denver and Baltimore pretty much gets the morning primetime game with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. That's a big game for both of those teams, by the way. So that's where we're at. Chargers, Cleveland, that is in the orange for the TV map. So pretty cool to be able to see you guys. And I'm excited for this game. And obviously, if you have Sunday ticket, you guys could see the game if you're out of those areas like I am. So I do not want to watch the New Orleans Carolina game, which is a dumpster fire game. So
yeah. What a garbage game that's going to be.
Big pass on that game.
Yep.
So,
and by the way, Eddie, we'll be thinking about you. MRI, bacterial mass. Wow. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Hope you're going well, but hope it goes well, bud.
Yeah.
Jeez. So, game preview picks based upon NFL showing off the.
Oh, there it is. Again. There it is again.
James is really struggling. He's like frozen right there. You're cutting in and out. You're cutting in and out, buddy.
So Adam Rank generally always puts Chargers as a loss for some reason. I don't know what it is, but basically it looks like whoever thinks we're going to lose by 1 point. For the most part, everybody seems like we're going to be able to win by at least one score. So, so it'll be interesting to see. I think that over and under is like 2.5, I think, or 2, I think at this point. So, yeah. NFL's got some haters, dude. And Adam Rank seems to always be the one.
Yeah.
Why is that? What's up with this guy?
No clue.
No
clue.
He doesn't like Baby Blue, I guess, huh?
He's probably a Raiders fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how does he predict it on the Raiders like all the time? You know?
Exactly. What I want to say in the preseason, I think he said the Chargers are only going to win like 6 games or something like that. So I think he's sticking to what he basically has predicted for this team. So that's kind of where I think it's at for us. So whatever. Anyways, let him keep hating, dude. We'll just keep winning.
He's drinking that haterade. That's what he's drinking.
That's
right. Stop hating. Come on, start hating. Stop hating. Stop participating, baby. Start participating. Twinkle, twinkle, baby. Twinkle, twinkle.
Baby. Yeah. That's right, baby. So Chargers Browns. This is such a big looking injury report here. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
You gotta look at it. It almost even looks like it starts fading away down when he gets to the Browns.
It's mid-season. It is what it is. That's part of it.
Yeah, they had to change the font size down there for the Browns.
Jeez, I know, right?
Yeah.
Jeez,
look at that.
Crazy.
Look at that.
What the big thing about it is that DJ Shark did have 2 full practices and then became questionable. That's kind of an interesting one. Like, my hopes is that he'll be able to play. I would love to be able to see a full slate of all our wide receivers for once.
Right.
Darius Davis is back. Disley, Dobbins, Fox. Christian Fulton is out. He's the only one outside of Brandon Rice who got a shoulder issue, so probably something in practice. But Quentin Johnston should be back. Obviously, Ladd. Hayden Hurst will be back. That's great. I mean, Jasir Taylor will be back. I mean, we're going to have a good squad out there for this week. I'm just excited to be able to see our full slate of tight ends and our full wide receiver, potentially if DJ Shark could have his debut this weekend, just to see what we got with these guys. I would love to be able to see Herbert, and especially what he is right now. He's cooking. And so it'd be nice to be able to have a full slate of wide receivers, our full squad there, ready for him to be able to.
Well, you got to remember too, Hayden Hurst was really the offensive production tight end compared to Disley, right? Disley is more of the blocking tight end. Hayden Hurst is more of the offensive production tight end, right? So he's the one that would have not missed that ball theoretically, right? So, it will be interesting to see how that plays out this game moving forward. But man, a lot of injuries, guys, and just make this very clear. Everyone that's out on the field is banged up, right? They are not 100%, not feeling any pain, right? They're feeling something. Yep.
What, and I'll give a shout out to Will Disley for what he's doing. They're asking a lot from him at this point.
Yeah.
And, he's a blocker, and now he was the tight end number 1, and he's already had 26 catches, 233 yards, no touchdowns this season, but his career high was 34. And that's crazy. He's had 34 catches at most in 2022. I mean, he's having his second best year he's ever had as a pass catcher. So shout out to him to be able to fill in that gap and at least produce well for this team. So Great to see.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I think there's a lot of people said about this. This is a good question by LOD. He says, what do you think the disconnect is between Harbaugh and admitting Bosa had a setback? And again, I think this is probably Miguel. I think it answered the question perfectly. I don't think he wants to reveal Bosa has a serious injury. That could be true. But also, you know that Harbaugh's not going to come out and start talking about people's injuries, right? There's HIPAA laws. And Jim Harbaugh was very clear about that. I'm not going to talk about people's injuries. He's like, I'm not qualified, is what he keeps saying.
Yeah.
They even asked him, I think it was a couple weeks ago, they said, well, what happened to Asante Samuel? Back issue. Well, can you tell us more about that? Not qualified, right?
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor. And, and it takes away the conversation, right? Like, stop asking these questions because I'm not going to give you an answer, right? So, and it makes sense, right? Because he doesn't want to say anything that could get him into trouble because it's HIPAA laws. These are actual.
Yeah.
He could be sued for saying the wrong thing also, right?
Right.
I mean, what if he came out and said, oh, Joey Bosa ripped an ass muscle? I mean, I'm just saying something right there because he keeps talking about his, sounds like a sciatic nerve, right?
Yeah.
Well, he probably shouldn't say that because that could affect his ability to be traded. It could affect his ability to ever be picked up by any other team as well, right? So, I mean, there's legalities there, and these guys even have insurance on themselves because of injury too. So, anyways, but just a thought
definitely.
on that. I do have another video here as well too. I got another video here as well.
I was just going to jump through the Browns real quick, just to kind of just say, hey, look, the big thing is though their loss is Jeremiah Owusu-Komora. He is on the IR. He's like their linebacker, do it all, Derwin James type guy. He's basically not going to be in the game. Denzel Ward is going to be playing in this game. He was questionable, but they got a lot of people that are banged up and everything too. I mean, so do we. But at this point, they are going to miss a pretty big player on the defensive line. So, yeah. So that's funny.
That's good. Yeah. By the way, that Jeremiah Owusu, that guy is incredible, man.
He's very good.
He is. I think he's leading the team with tackles. If I remember.
Yeah, correctly. I think it was 60
him being out is going to be a huge thing. Yep.
Yeah.
So pretty good.
Yeah. But Denzel Ward, I would love. I don't think they'll trade away Newsome. The weird thing about Newsome, he hasn't had very many interceptions, if I remember correctly.
No, he has not.
So interesting. But Denzel Ward's been a great quarterback as well too. So this is a good defensive play, by the way. I don't know. It's weird. I will say this, guys. I have noticed that we have not blitzed as much as we did at the beginning of the season. Has anybody else noticed that? I'm a little surprised by that, but we just haven't blitzed as much as we've had in the past, right? So this is kind of an interesting play, but Derwin James is going to come off the edge here, and people kind of rip on Derwin James. Derwin James does a great job still. I mean, he is an extremely. Here he comes, boom, completely blows that play up. That was DJ all the way. DJ all the way. There we go. I like that. That's DJ all the way. DJ
all the way. That's right here.
DJ all the way. Hey, but I mean, look at this. He comes in, takes out 83. Puts Kamara on his back. I mean, man, that's just awesome, And look, the running play was directly going into the blitz. DJ clearly played it really well. I don't know. I just think this is where DJ is absolutely incredible. But you can't play him that way when you don't have other safeties that can actually cover the top, right? And that's where Elijah Molden has become extremely important because he can be back there with Gilman. And the top is covered, and he can run free, right?
Yep.
So,
and to go back to your point about us not, blitzing as much as we initially were, our sack percentage is at about 7.53% right now, number 11 in the league. So, I mean, even though if we're not blitzing as much as we once were, we're still finding ways to be able to get to the quarterback. Which is great to see. And that's really what you want to do. I mean, sometimes even just getting the quarterback flustered and out of the pocket and kind of make a stupid decision or rush a decision is still almost as effective as a sack in a way. It's about killing plays, right?
Well, one thing I noticed too, watch this. Everyone jumps to the right side. Watch this. So that everyone does a stutter step to the right side in tandem. And this just goes to show you, what Jesse Minter kept talking about with block destruction, right? The whole point of that is you're jumping in a lane. So let's say, because I think they pull to the right side and then we pull to the right side. So we jump to the right side. So just watch this real quick. Everyone just goes, boop. They do a little sidestep. I thought this was pretty interesting. Sidestep. And then everyone sidesteps. And I just think that's pretty interesting the way that they, again, that's where the block destruction comes into play.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's a lot you can discuss on that. You can break this down forever, but this is a video I could not make a short out of, but I felt like it would be a good one to show on today's video.
I like it.
It's pretty solid. I mean, they find a way to jump the opposite direction and allow gaps open pretty much at that point. So
100%. Yeah.
It's pretty good stuff. I mean, the thing is, though, I love Jesse Minter's defense. And I mean, obviously, if you look at like the stats that we'll show here in a little bit, I mean, this guy's killing it. But, going back to a little bit of the trade talk and kind of what this game this weekend could potentially mean. And this is one of the players that I even highlighted this week is David Njoku. Like, what if the Browns basically lose to the Chargers? The season's pretty much over. You start thinking a little bit ahead in the future at this point, and you think, would you get rid of David Njoku? I mean, one of those guys that would be nice. Brings you another weapon to the team. This is a tight end heavy type team. You get a guy that could pass catch and block. It could be a guy that you could have for the future ahead. So, it'd be really, really a cool trade if they did that. I mean, and then also you could make the trade just after the game, and then you can say, hey, David, just jump on our plane. You're coming back with us, kind of thing. So it would be kind of an awesome thing to be able to see. So I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on that too? David Njoku to the Chargers.
Yeah, man. I
would love that. I would love
that.
That
would be great. Getting another solid tight end like that would be freaking fantastic, man.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
And
but he wouldn't be able to use that number though. They ain't no way he's going to be able to take 85. So he would have to be something else.
Yeah, for sure.
Change it up.
Yeah.
Change it up.
That
sure.
number is off limits. Out of respect right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you even look at like David Njoku's contract right now, he's basically a cap hit of $9.65 million this season. Next season is $11.789 million, and then there's a void year of 2026 at the $24 million. So basically, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I think could fit pretty well for this team. And I mean, Harbaugh's had some history of making some pretty good tight ends be even better. So that would be a really good one, man. Yeah, and Jim, I think that'd be for a lot of Chargers fans.
Yeah, and one thing I will say too, I know we kind of had a discussion around, is this a rebuild year or not a rebuild year? Where I will agree that this is a rebuild year is we still don't have all of Harbaugh's guys in here now,
sure,
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. I guess when people say rebuild, because there was a lot of people making comments like, "Oh, Andrew, it is a rebuild year." Because where I'll say that it's not a rebuild year is we have enough talent to be successful to go to the playoffs,
right,
and win a game or two, right, or maybe even go to the Super Bowl, depending on how hot we get at the end. But getting the full team, the real team that this team wants, is going to take some time. It'll probably take 2 years at least. Really more like 3 years, probably.
Right.
But my point is, there's a lot to be said about that across the board. And this guy would be an amazing part of that process. I don't think he's that old either, if I remember correctly.
28.
I don't think he's
28.
Oh, he's 20. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's taken a little while for him to kind of get in a groove of things. But it's interesting because the Browns as a team and an offense this season, they are throwing the ball a lot. They are throwing the ball 64.71% of the time, which is number 3 in the league, versus running the ball only with 30 something percent, I believe it is. Yeah, 35.29%, number 30 in the league. So, the thing about it is, like, this team's got some players. I do think it's just our defense has to find ways to hold down some of these guys, and we'll jump over some of the stats too, a little bit about both sides too.
Yeah,
I think that's strange to me that they are passing so much when they got a guy like Nick Chubb, who's like probably one of the best backs in the league right now. He's
back
solid.
from a brutal injury.
Yeah, but it's a rough injury, man.
True, that's true.
Yeah, he definitely lost a step. And I don't expect he'll have a great game. I don't against us. Someone asked a question about Poona Ford. Poona Ford's PFF grade is 77.1, so he's 11th ranked.
He's been killing it.
One other guy I'm going to highlight on this one is this boy Hart right here. Yep. Dude, again, two amazing. And then Tito Obonia, guys. Tito's looking really good. The defensive line is amazing. We just watched Hart. I mean, look how big this guy is. Boop, knocks it down. And,
Nice.
I mean, I'll just say this, guys. Like, a lot of people talked about his effort. He's lazy, whatever. But man, dude, he's done such a great job.
I know, man. He's gotten the ball so many times. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah,
but look at who's covering who on this. To watch this as well too. Derwin James is up on the line. You think he's going to cover Olave? He's not. Watch this. I think it's Gilman who either covers. I think Gilman might cover him. Hold on. No. But watch. Derwin covers 41. Ball's going to go to him. He would have had it. He would have had that pass.
Yeah, he would have had that. Yep.
So it's. I'm telling you, this defense could get even better, right? I think it's still good, but there's a lot more that can improve as well.
Well, and it was interesting as you were talking about PFFs. I was thinking, it's Tarheeb Stills currently sitting at. He's 67.3 right now. He's 66 out of 201, so he's in the green there. Pass rush grade is at 75.7, 17th best in cornerback right now. 51.1 for a run defense, which is not the best, but his coverage grade is 67.6, which is in the green again at 59th out of 201 cornerback. So the thing is, though, like going back to Andrew's talk about like rebuild, or I kind of consider it more retooling. It's about using what you currently have, make them better, pretty much. If we have another really solid draft next year, that's only going to help out that shift to the next level so much faster for this team. I mean, you got to look at what even our first two picks are. How long has it been since Tom Telesco's had two picks that hit, like a Lad McConkey, who potentially could get to 100 catches, like I kind of predicted? He's run rating close to that now. And, you got Joe Alt, a guy who's absolute stud for you. And then you got two picks in the back end that have killed it. I mean, even to say Junior Colston hasn't even really fully formed yet as a player within this defense too. So there's a lot of talent on this team that they have done a great job for first, draft with Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh. It's been phenomenal to see.
Yeah. And the one other argument I would make too is that it doesn't really matter how you start, it's how you finish, right?
Yep.
Add that to my online dating profile. What's up? My point is, again, we're still getting this offense moving the right direction. So somebody asked a question. Miguel was like, hey, should we fix the offense first? I think the offense is going to take some time, right? I'm hoping we catch a nice wave and, into the playoffs, right? So I think the defense will just continue getting better. But, maybe one or two more guys could be big, right? Njoku, maybe a wide receiver. What if we get Mike Williams back and we just use him on 3rd and longs or just red zone, type? Because, guys,
that idea.
At the end of the day, he knows Herbert, man, and he can catch those 50-50 balls. He's a big target, right? That's what he's good at. So,
right.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot to be said about that.
And I've been saying it's like the offense just needs to find a way to catch up to the defense at this point. Like, if we could get our offense to score 21 points a game, we'll be golden because our defense is phenomenal.
It's a wrap
all around.
Yep.
I feel like, though, unfortunately, if we sign Mike Williams, he's going to have a wrist injury as soon as he signs that contract.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
His back or something. You're like, oh my God, what's going on here, dude?
He's gonna lean back and fall out of the chair like, oh
man, I'm injured again. Dang it.
A paperclip. Someone was shooting paper clips in the break room or something.
Right
in the eyeball.
Well, I could pull up real quick just the stats, just so we can kind of talk briefly about those guys. So once again, Chargers versus Browns offenses, offensive categories for both teams. Points per game, 18.9, 24th in the league. I mean, I think this offense is starting to just kind of, once again, the plane is ascending at this point, guys. And I think that this offense will only get better. Last 2 weeks, you've seen the glimpse of a healthy Herbert. Yeah. And you know what? Once again, if we get all of our wide receivers on the same field at the same time for once, first time this season with our tight ends, this is going to be a really different offense, in my opinion. And we could probably go to town, and Herbert could probably have a very, very solid game. Browns offense, to me, every category I'm looking at with them, it was with Deshaun Watson, who I don't think the team really cared about. You just looked at last week versus when Jameis Winston was the quarterback. It was a different looking offense, different looking defense, in my opinion. But they are not categorizing very well, pretty much top to bottom, passing, rushing offense, total offense, third down conversions. I mean, red zone scoring is pretty much their top, which is 9th in the league. But I'm sure they just haven't got to that point to be able to do a lot of red zone scoring. Now, with the Chargers, I think it's the same kind of concept that I think it's the offense. Passing offense is figuring itself out. Healthy Herbert's making a difference. Rushing offense, still to me, I've been a big fan of going after, say, Robert Hunt, who is from the Carolina Panthers. Solidify the O-line even further if you possibly can. Make sure you could have a better pocket for Justin Herbert and a better rushing offense in general. But big thing, turnovers for this team. We've only had 4, third in the league, which is great. You know, we're trying to keep the ball all around, and we're about mid-range for the sacks allowed too. So I think bottom line, this is it's kind of on paper, you look at it as a very even matchup on the offensive sides, but I think that there is kind of different stories of what both teams are at right now, trending wise.
Yeah, the glaring problem there is a red zone scoring for the Chargers, though. We're 30th in the league. That's bad.
Yep.
That's really bad. We need to fix that.
Yep. And they're like one of the best, which is crazy. The ninth in the league, which is like, how's that even happening? So, that's where it gets a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, truth is they got good weapons on their team. Like their biggest lack now is quarterback, still for sure. I mean, even with Watson, he hasn't been doing like phenomenal, whatever. But like, and that's kind of why that they've had a pretty good red zone offense. Is that Njoku's great, Chubb is great when he's healthy, of course. They got good receivers and stuff too, so at least one good receiver. They got all that, but they don't have the quarterback. That's the biggest crutch right now.
Yep. No, most definitely. I was actually just looking to see if there's some sort of amount of attempts that they've had in the red zone, and I cannot seem to find it right now. But either which way, I think it's both teams are kind of an upward trend in a lot of these categories, in my opinion. So I think it'll be interesting. This offense is going to be an interesting matchup, both sides. Now, defensively, Chargers are the best in points allowed, 13, which is incredible, guys. Like, you got to understand that is an extremely low amount of points that we're giving up this year. I mean, what have we allowed? 10 touchdowns all season, I believe it is, which is
something like that. Yeah,
which is incredible right now. So this defense knows what the heck they're doing. I mean, you look at their categories: pass offense, 9th in the league, 193 yards, rushing, 112, 11th, total defense, 8th. 305 yards that they're allowing, 5th on third down conversions at 32.2%, red zone defense 4th in the league, 41.67, which is a strength of the Browns for the red zone. Sacks were mid-range 18, takeaways were 10, 14 versus the Browns were really kind of known as a big defensive team, and they're actually ranking just kind of that mid-range for most categories at this point.
Where's the pen at, man? Hey. We guys are slacking here, man. Get that pen
I don't
out
know what I should color here.
You got to check things, check things off.
See, again, you can't give.
Hey, that ain't no check. That's a slash there. What do you?
Check.
He don't know what he's doing.
Check.
No, he didn't. What
James ain't ready. James ain't ready.
Oh, James.
This is it.
James, you got to
Total
check.
busted, dude.
The Chargers beat the Browns, so the Chargers got to get checked. The passing defense, Chargers are better than the Browns. They got to get checked. It's like
check. Well, the one thing that I worry the most about is sacks. And, look, like Myles Garrett's a very, very good player all around.
Yes.
I mean, he can wreak havoc all around, and he likes to do that. I mean, I don't know if he had a graveyard on his front of his lawn again this year of quarterbacks that he sacked, but he loves doing that and thrives off that. But, that's the big key to this game. Our offensive line needs to hold back their defensive line from basically getting to Justin Herbert. And, I mean, we got 2 of the best tackles in the league. It's just, can the middle of our O-line actually figure it out? That's the whole thing that I'm looking at here.
Yeah, the fans have spoken, James. You need to not have a pin, dude. Yeah, pretty bad. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Really
terrible.
Oh, well.
It's sad, dude. It's sad to see.
Well.
I mean, come on now. So here's the play where Herbert gets gator rolled right here. So you see a little bit of this. But again, Shepard's right on top of Bozeman right here. Nose to nose.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of weird having a guy right in your face like that. I don't know.
I know, right?
But watch this. Here he goes.
Rolls fast. Boop, 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 boop.
Boom, and then he puts him on the ground.
Dude,
he literally ripped his helmet off of his face. Look, he totally ripped his helmet right off his face.
Love it.
I missed that. Yeah,
love it.
I was paying attention to the play here. Hang on a second.
Yeah, watch this right. Yeah, I didn't even. So
you gotta love seeing Herbert doing kind of those off-script plays like that too.
Yeah,
be able to just shovel it off.
Yeah, here we go. Now watch this.
What?
Rolls down. Knocks him on the ground.
Yeah,
completely moved his helmet completely off of his head. He brings it back down.
Yeah,
and it's such a dirty play though. I mean, beyond anything else, it's ridiculous. Like how is he still trying to bring him to the ground like this? Right?
Yeah.
It's done. Like how? Yeah. I mean, how is he not? Right. And it's annoying to me that the refs are just almost complicit in this. To some degree, right? It's unbelievable, dude.
Crazy.
There's no Gators in LA.
I was thinking we were talking about Gator Roll. I don't know if you guys have watched that show on Max called It's Florida Man, and there's the second episode's kind of talking a little bit about Gators and such, dude. Great show. It's hilarious. Real life stories.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's so funny, but watch it. It's a hilarious show. It's a brand new show by Max.
Where I got the Gator Roll thing from was when Bozeman was interviewed after. He goes, yeah, man, he just kept gator rolling on Justin Herbert's bad ankle. And so I was using his words on it,
Actually, I have a quote from the refs were actually interviewed after that, and this is what they said.
I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
I cannot see, I'm legally blind. Yeah.
That's about it, man. I mean, that was like, what in the hell is going on here, guys? Like,
so
unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, because you can see, you can literally see on every camera angle that Shepard literally he had his leg in his arms, and he got up and then twisted his body. Yeah. And I was like, dude, that is what are you talking about here? Like, that is 100% like intentional, and he should be suspended.
Yeah. Dirty play.
It definitely has to be under review at this point, for sure.
Yeah. Well, they need to pick up the pace, man. This ain't the court system here. Like there ain't no that much due process for this kind of stuff. It's like, come on now.
Yeah. We don't need to get too elaborate on it. That was pretty obvious, dude. The play was way over.
Pretty obvious.
Trying to pull
the evidence is clear. Facts are facts. But
it's funny that it was the Saints. I mean, they were busted basically Target Gate or whatever it was called, and they were getting paid off to hurt players and such. So it's just kind of ironic that it goes back to the Saints doing it again. I'm legally blind.
That's right.
Classic.
So this is we'll go through the 3 touchdowns at the end of this, but this is kind of a good play. I mean, well, it's not kind of a good play. It's a great play. Matlock goes in motion to the side here and comes all the way down, takes out number 48.
Yes.
But watch the this is basically a GT. This is a guard pull, a guard counter. So everyone holds their blocks on this side, but Zion's going to be rolling over. Man, he does a bad job. Watch this. This is where Zion has struggled, which is weird because he actually is pretty good at run blocking, bad at pass blocking if you look at his PFF scores. But he really doesn't do a good job on this one at all. So he comes down and watch Zion's going to pull. Look at this. Boom! Seals it. He completely misses the honey badger right there. And but hey, JK gets it in anyways, right? I mean, Tyrann Mathieu, he needs to get him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of a long run for him, though. If you kind of look at it, it's a long run to get to that point, because you got to think like you're running across 5 other dudes essentially to be able to get to that point, and it's very hard. I mean, Matlock did his job, and JK basically had that extra effort to get past that to be able to get that touchdown. So
yeah, but it's nice to see Matlock improve this way, right? He's had more snaps in the offensive side of the ball than he has defense, and he got a sack this week too, guys.
Yes,
which is incredible. I was like,
Shout
wow,
out.
that's so cool that he got a sack, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Scott Matlock, the man of many talents, man. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
No joke.
You know,
dude.
I was going to say, you know, I know one thing that we talked about is obviously kind of stats to this game and everything too, but I was kind of thinking maybe we could go down the line and just talk about one point you think that the Chargers need to do to be able to get a victory this week. So, I mean, if you guys want to do that, we could totally do that. I was going to throw one of them out there. You know what? Bottom line, find a way, and I think I already chatted about it. Find a way to hold their defensive line. You know, don't let Myles Garrett be a game wrecker, because he can be a game wrecker all around. And I think we just have to make sure that he is a guy that you got to lock down all around for this team. So if we could just kind of make sure Justin Herbert's upright, I'm guaranteeing we'll be able to have a very, very good game on the pass game side of things. You know, obviously protect our crown jewel, please. So I think that's the big thing too. You also got to look at Zadarius Smith, who is a guy that has also been out there a little bit as the trade targets too. So I think that's going to be one that I'm going to throw out there. So.
Yeah, I would just say I think obviously get the offensive line running a little bit better. I think if we could run the ball this week, that'd be really a good thing. I think they've kind of, the nice thing with Herbert about the ability for him to run, and he's actually shown he's going to run the ball.
Yeah,
it makes it so the defense has to look at him and say, okay, cool. Is he going to run, or is he going to just sit in the pocket? When he was sitting in the pocket, they weren't respecting the fact that he could run the ball, right? So I think this is a great way of showing that we are now, the full offense can be run, right? So maybe a bootleg to the right side, bootleg to the left side. You know, I think there's a lot of different things that could be there. But again, protecting Herbert, that is priority number one, guys. And so again, the Sam Mustipher thing is, I'm very curious how that's going to play out. If he's just going to be there for depth, or if they're going to try and rotate him in as the center. Who knows? I mean, I'm really curious to see what happens. Or if, like, right before the game, oh, sorry, you're getting suspended. You know, I mean, how crappy would that be, guys?
That would be ridiculous.
I would be so annoyed by that. Anyways, but my point is, it will be very interesting to see how that plays out moving forward.
Yeah,
I like the comment that WHT Bolt Deadpool said 77% chance of playoffs with a win this weekend for the Chargers. So look, I mean, bottom line, keep winning. I think Jim Harbaugh talks about it. The season really only starts till, well, actually, no, I think it was Bill Belichick chatting about it, but I think it's universally through the NFL. The season really doesn't start till after Thanksgiving. Those are the critical games, but these are the games you need to win to be able to even have a chance at that point. And so, bottom line, you got to go out there and get this dub. Kyle, what's your one point that you think that the Chargers need to do to be able to get a victory this weekend?
You know, that's a big question. I think it's all comes down to obviously at the end of the day, we need to score points. Our red zone efficiency needs to get up phenomenally. So I would say though too, like, containing their quarterback, Jameis Winston, would be the number one thing, because he is their weakest link. And if you can get to him and you can stop him in any way, then that's going to be it. Because, like, they got good tight ends, they got a good receiver, they got a good running back. BS, he was coming off injury and stuff like that, you know. But so they got the weapons. But if you get to the head of the snake and cut that off, then we're Gucci, you know.
Gucci, yeah.
And then, like, Gucci. We Gucci, yeah. So it's like, I mean, because they do have some really good players on defense and offense. Bottom line too. It's like, so like, that's why they are a tough team for us to face this week for sure. But I believe that we can win, because it all comes to the head of the snake, tip of the spear. That's right.
Spear. One thing I would probably throw out there too is we need to tackle a lot better on defense. Like, I feel like the last couple of weeks we've been a little bit off on our tackling ability and taking weird angles and such too. I think we need to get better at tackling, and we need to make sure we have cleaner tackles all around. Now, obviously, we showed a Cam Hart phenomenal hit basically on Chris Olave and everything like that, but I feel like there's been some kind of a little bit of uncertainty in making kind of odd decisions for tackling. So I think we need to get better at that level too. Tackling is a huge part of the defense. So I think we definitely need to make that happen.
They definitely got better last week, I think, but they can definitely improve for sure, right? 100%. I'll end on this one last video. I could show the other one also with him in the end zone, but Ladidi McConkey, dude, my goodness.
My gosh,
this one right here was just amazing, right? It's good to see him finally really, get there. It takes a long, guys. This is part of my problem too, right? As a rookie, it's very hard to be a wide receiver, very hard to be a corner, very difficult to step in and be amazing in the NFL. But boy, look at this throw and catch right here. Awesome job. Nice play action. Ball goes up. Ladidi, and man, look at this. This is so sick. Does such a good job.
Get the wheels. Nope.
Look at that.
Dang. How many missed tackles right there?
Yeah, it was a ton, right? And I guess that's my point. Where I was like, man, dude, like he does such a good job. I know he's leading, I think, rookies in separation, if I remember correctly. So I mean, he just does a lot of really good things. Again, where I worry about him is he's a little smaller. I'd love to see him maybe eat some meatloaf or some some pizza or something. Add a little extra girth to his body, you know what I mean?
Go to the Harbaugh diet of what milk and steak, I believe
milk
it is.
And steak, dude, milk and steak. Oh
that
my
sounds
god,
just like awful to me for some reason. If you're eating that together, that is not milk and cookies, dude. But
I mean, it just goes to show you what kind of weapons he has. And again, think about it this way: we get Quentin Johnson back, DJ Chark out on the field. Guys, this team could be pretty amazing. It would be again. I do still think we go after somebody. But they got to be available, and that's the other part of the conversation. And also, do they want to come to the Chargers, right? Some people might not want to come, right? Who knows? Maybe Mike Williams doesn't want to come back. Maybe he's like, I don't want to go back to the Chargers,
It's like going back to your ex or something like that, too. Sure. It's like, I mean, maybe he didn't feel like he had a great relationship with the Chargers. And so, I don't know. So maybe that's the thing.
Well, and it was also a different regime, too, right? You got, what was the name? Doofus, Brandon Staley.
We do not speak his name here.
Yeah, BS is what it's
BS, dude. That's right.
BS.
Yeah, I'll end with the last touchdown from McConkey. I got to do the short on this one anyways. I was going to do it a bit earlier today, but this is amazing. I mean, just look at the footwork on Herbert. And I guess this illustrates exactly what I'm saying. Why his mobility, I think, has changed the offense. If he has the ability to move in the pocket, he's that much better. But look at this throw too, guys. I mean, I was really admiring it just this morning. He does such a great job of it's like a kind of a quarter sidearm. Look at this. Move. Whoop. I mean, look at that. That's insane. Yeah. If you really look at that throw, that's incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he throws it at a place that not only the defender cannot catch, but the only place that the wide receiver could catch the ball. Incredible.
Yep. Herbert is just phenomenal out of the pocket. And it's like, as he's getting healthier, you're starting to see him use his feet a lot more.
Yep.
And I mean, he is dangerous. I mean, he was one of the tops to be able to be out of the pocket in the NFL for some years, it seemed like. And I mean, gosh, look at that movement on that. Pocket presence is phenomenal with Justin Herbert, in my opinion.
So good.
Like, he is phenomenal.
So good.
And just to talk about, I know Ladidi McConkey is our guy, our number one, but there's like a random rumor that kind of popped up, and I've kind of had him in the back of my mind too. But there's a rumor going out that teams are calling up Seattle about DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I've been hearing that too.
And
Yep.
Chargers are one of those teams that are actually apparently talking to him. Now, why would that make sense? Well, who's our wide receiver coach? Sanjay Lau. Sanjay Lau worked with the Seattle Seahawks for their wide receivers. It makes sense in that side. Coach to player. Could have an easy transition, somebody to basically lean on. And dude, if you had DK Metcalf, dude, I've loved that dude. I thought it was hilarious when he got drafted, and it was Pete Carroll took his shirt off because obviously DK Metcalf's like 1% body fat, and apparently his diet is that and apparently his diet is that he eats like nothing but candy and works out for like 4 hours a day or something crazy like that.
Which is crazy. You're like, holy cow, bro.
It's terrible.
Insanity. Yeah.
Terrible. But I mean, I guess if you want to be able to eat like crap, you got to work out for 4 hours plus a day to be able to kind of, calories in, calories out kind of situation there. But anyways, that was just something I wanted to throw out there just because I saw it randomly, just because I was looking at it.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of names out there that are definitely available. I mean, I promise you they're making calls. I promise you at least Joe Ortiz is making calls and figuring things out, and if Palmer's not the guy, he's not a long-term opportunity for us, you could say, okay, we'll give you Palmer and we get Metcalf and we give you a 6th round pick or something. I mean, who knows, right? Or maybe a 5th, who knows, right? But my point is, I do think they're, there's going to be options. And again, does a player have to play right now? You really care about him in the playoffs, right? And that's suggesting that we're going to make the playoffs. And again, the reason why that doesn't matter because Joe Ortiz is like, look, if we give up a 6th and then he goes away, becomes a comp pick, and we get a 4th or a 5th or a 6th out of him, you lose nothing. You just get to try the guy out for the rest of the year. So, a lot to be said about that, guys. So pretty interesting.
Yep, absolutely. No, we're excited about it. I think it's going to be next couple games are going to be really big for this team. This is a good time to be able to stack some W's into. If you start looking at the later schedule, it starts to get pretty rough. So these are games that are very critical for this team now.
Yeah, we got to win them. We got to win them.
We got to win these games. We got to win these next couple games. So my hopes and goal is that we'll get to 6-3, and then we could start just kind of sorting things out from there. Yeah, and from that point, get about 4 wins for the rest of the season, and you'll be able to get into the playoffs. In my opinion, I think 10-7 will get you into the playoffs, in my opinion, this year. So,
I agree.
Yeah, it could, but we're not going to go 7-10. We're going to go at least 9-8 because I got money on it.
We're going to go 9-8, or wait? Oh no way! We're going 10-7 at the minimum at this.
Yeah. All right. I was just saying. I just need
cut it, in my opinion.
I think it will. You just said 7-10. You could have said 7-10.
No, he said 10-7.
10-7.
No, he had it backwards. Roll the tape back. That's all right.
I was gonna say, I was like, you kind of heard him wrong there. 10-7. 10-7 makes sense. And the AFC is the mess this year too, right? I think a lot of teams are really struggling. They're just, the Browns are a good example, right? They're just not that great, and the Ravens, I don't know. We'll see. They look good at times, and we'll see how it goes. So, all righty, guys. Well, we are the Bolt Bros. We'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, guys.
Bolt Bros.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching Bolt Bros podcast.